would be so agenda of the today's demo would be, first we will talk about what is framework. What is framework in programming? Second, we will talk about what is Spring framework. In Java and its features. Third, we will talk about Spring Boot. Fourth, we will Spring Boot. Fourth, we will develop our first Spring Boot app. First Spring Boot app. And using IDE as well as Spring Initializer, spring.io. So this is our agenda of this demo. We will talk about all the features, why the need of framework, why do we need frameworks, and what are the different features or what are the different functionalities provided by frameworks. Then how it helps developers to save its time and efforts and increase his productivity also. So we will talk about it line by line, and we will discuss all the features related to frameworks, particularly Spring framework. When this Spring framework first came into market, how that project started, and the structure of Spring framework, what are the different modules it have, such as the Spring core, its features, then different modules, different modules of Spring framework, such as core, Spring core, then Spring MVC for creating web applications, Spring core, Spring MVC, Spring boot, then Spring data to work with data access layer, then Spring security, Spring AOP, aspect oriented programming, to handle cross-cutting concerns and to bring much more modularity in application development. So this is our agenda. We will talk about each and everything line by line. First of all, we will go ahead with frameworks. So what is mean by framework? Why do we need frameworks? What is mean by framework? See, framework is a foundational structure. It is a foundational structure to develop and guidelines to develop applications. See, framework provide a foundational structure and specific guidelines to develop particular applications. So it avoids confusion and it creates clarity to develop particular applications. It will help and reduce time of the developer. So according to its guidelines, we will develop our applications, and it will become easy to write our business logic rather than working on any other features. So it provides foundational structure and guidelines to develop applications. Second, it provides templates to develop applications and reduce time as well as efforts of developers. So by using these templates, developer can develop defined applications without worrying about all the other things like configuration of files, server installation, server initialization, then creation of objects. So all these things will be taken care by frameworks. You developer just need to focus on business logic of the program. Next, frameworks will have reusable code and tools with it. It will have reusable code and tools. So by using this code, you do not need to write it again and again, and to avoid such a boilerplate code, framework provide all the reusable code with it and all the tools also. So you can directly use that tool from framework. You do not need to write it again and again, and you should avoid boilerplate code by using these reusable resources. Then it speeds up the development, because it gives lot of functionality and avoid development from. So you do not need to, no need to start from scratch. Developer just need to focus on business logic. Framework enhances efficiency. It enhances efficiency by giving lot of configurations and reusable resources. So it enhances efficiency by giving templates. It avoids errors also, which is tend to happen because of lack of template availability. So it provides templates, and so it reduces errors while developing any application. And most important things, it provides pre-built solutions for most common problems. So this is how framework help developer to develop lot of things by giving lot of reusable code, solutions for common problems, and then it provides reusable code and tools and speed up the development. So developer no need to start from the scratch. So these are the very important features of any framework, any framework in language, any language. So it boosts productivity of the coder also. It boosts productivity of the coder, boosts productivity. So we have a lot of important features with our frameworks, that is Spring framework. But before that, I would like to give some examples regarding frameworks. For example, web related frameworks: Django, which is framework in Python; then Spring Boot, which is framework in Java. Okay, Java. This is Python. Then if we consider machine learning, then we will have PyTorch, okay, etc, TensorFlow and all others. You can learn from internet also. Then we will have JavaScript frameworks such as Angular, React, Node, etc. So these are the frameworks or libraries that will have a lot of reusable code, lot of common functionality. It will take care of configurations also, server initialization, server deployment, application deployment in server. So it will help you to boost your productivity by avoiding lots of boilerplate code and providing it as a solution in one place. So you can directly use the functionality. It also integrates lots of different layers, such as Spring framework integrates JDBC or ORM layers upon it, and it directly allows you to access database through its Spring data framework. But it integrates different Hibernate ORM, then JDBC also within it. So you do not need to create queries for each and every operation. You can directly use the ready-made functionality given by Spring. So this is the importance of framework. Now we will discuss about our most important framework that we are going to learn, that is Spring framework. See, why we go for Spring framework? Why Spring framework? Because it made Java quicker, easier, and safer. Quicker to avoid see, this is not quicker. It allows faster development. Easier because it avoids lot of it gives solutions to lot of common problems faced by developers. So developers do not need to worry about all those functionality. So it is easier to develop such applications, especially enterprise grade applications. And safer, it will provide security regarding authorization, and it will provide security regarding authorization and authentication process. So it will provide inbuilt features to authenticate and authorize particular user. So it is also it made Java more safer. Secondly, it focuses on speed, simplicity, and productivity. See, it focuses on speed because you can directly quick start your application development by creating Maven project or Gradle project. You do not need to worry about different configurations, server installation, application deployment. In fact, in Spring Boot, you can directly start production grade standalone applications. It will provide one function, one class having main method, and it will directly call your server from that. So you do not need to deploy or any other start any server also. It will automatically provide inbuilt server, that is Tomcat server or Apache Tomcat server or Jetty server with your application. So it improves your speed and it becomes very simple to develop such applications. So ultimately it enhances the productivity of the application. It provides lots of inbuilt functionality, so that developer can develop robust and scalable apps by focusing on business logic rather than working on other things, other unimportant things, such as server deployment, application deployment, server installation, then adding properties file, or adding dependencies, managing dependencies. Such type of all the repeated work or boilerplate code will be taken care by framework, that is Spring framework. Now most important thing, how this framework is organized, we should know about it. Spring framework is organized with different modules, Spring modules, such as a core module, then Spring MVC, here dependency injection is most important concept, as well as inversion of control. I will explain it very briefly. Also beans, then containers, specially application context container, for web app development. Third, Spring AOP. AOP stands for aspect oriented programming. Aspect oriented programming to bring modularity and to handle cross-cutting concerns like security, logging, transaction management, MGT. Fourth, we will have Spring Data to work with data access layer. Next, we will have Spring Security, which provides inbuilt authentication and authorization features. And we have a lot of other modules developed by Spring. Most important is Spring Boot for rapid development of application, It provides certain annotations and you can directly develop any app with great speed. Okay, you do not need to worry about other things. It will directly configure all the files. You do not need to write any XML code also, or you are very rarely depend on XML code, and it will take care of all the your bin creations and all those things. Now we will discuss about dependency injection and inversion of control. Dependency injection is simply means that your application or your object will be injected with its dependent object without waiting for its creation or its response. Your container, your framework container directly inject those objects of dependent class to dependent class. Dependency will be injected to dependent class at the time of bin creation only. So you do not need to worry, or you do not need to wait while using those dependency. You can directly use it, and it is injected while creation of bin only, at the time when application context container is managing all the bins. So bins is nothing but any component, nothing but object, okay, which is created and managed by our application context container or our Spring related containers. Our container will manage all the life cycle related to bin, and that is how it will take care of everything related to life cycle of the objects. So inversion of control is nothing but this process only. It will take care of, it controls the program's flow, means our application control container, our container will control the flow of program rather than letting users to dictate our flow. So it will control the flow of our program. It will not allow user to create objects and then dictate its flow. So that is nothing but inversion of control. By name also we can definitely draw some conclusions. That is inversion of control means normal control always lies with object and user, but it inverts the control with and give it to the container. Most important thing about Spring bins, that how to define bins in our program. So there are few things I would like to talk about it, such as annotations related to. These are the stereotype annotations like @controller, @service, @repository, @component. You can use these annotations to define any bin. Okay. So if you want to, in fact, your container will definitely look into your class path, and it will create all the bins that is required also, and mostly used bins objects will be created by your application context container also. So you do not need to worry about it. But other way to develop define bins is you can define it with the help of configuration class. You need to define one class with this annotation, that is @configuration, and you can define one method that will return that object that you want as a bin, and you just need to use bin annotation on that over that method. Okay, so it will definitely return that object, and it will create that object as a bin object, and it will be handled by our container only. Then we do not need to worry about its life cycle and management of that bin. So this is a way to define bins in our classes. But I would also like to discuss the dependency injection and different ways to inject those dependencies. we have three different ways to inject our dependency: constructor injection, then field injection, setter injection, and then field injection. So here in construction injection, we inject the dependency in dependent object using constructor. So we use constructor injection for such a beans that is mostly needed. Okay, mostly needed beans are injected through this constructor injection. Okay, in setter injection, we inject the beans that are not mostly needed but that are required at the runtime or anywhere, anytime. Okay, but that is not mostly needed. Okay, in constructor injection, we need those beans, mostly needed beans are there, so that when any object is created, all the dependencies should be injected with that object, and that object should have all the functionality. In setter injection, we do not need all the features, and we want sometime at a runtime to inject those features. So this is setter injection. And in field injection, dependency is injected using auto-wired annotation, which is mostly least used and also not recommended, because it will not allow modularity, and it will create dependency on particular object only. So finally, I would like to discuss some features about Spring Boot. So Spring Boot is helpful to create enterprise grade applications, but enterprise grade standalone applications. It will have embedded servers, so we do not need to deploy our var file. It will directly deploy our project into a server and run that server. It provides starter dependencies. So it is really important, because when we create any project, it will directly provide some starter dependencies that are very important, and any developer would require it, such as a Spring Web starter dependency, then JUnit related starter dependency, logging related starter dependency. They will directly provide it with project creation only, and this starter dependency will help developers to speed up his work and avoid extra time in searching other type of dependencies. It will provide auto configuration of Spring, such as a different functionality or different pins in class path, different modules that are mostly used. It will automatically create the beans of that module in container. So it will auto configure all the Spring related and third party libraries whenever possible or whenever required also. It provides production ready features such as metrics, health checks to check our application development and check whether we are developing it properly or not. And most important feature of Spring Boot is that we do not need code generation and no required for XML configuration. We do not need any XML configuration to configure any type of file. So that is the beauty of Spring Boot. It will allow our to develop rapid applications and boost our productivity. So that's it, guys. We will discuss our first Spring Boot app in next video.